What is music therapy? Mental health? How does it work? Don't worry, we're going to talk all about it and have some real and fun conversations. You're listening to the Live Tune Talks. Welcome back to another episode of the Live Tune Talks. My name is Ivy and I'm your host for today. So, for today's episode, we will be diving into conversations with one of the pioneers in the music therapy field in Malaysia to hear about her pioneering journey. What was it like to practice music therapy 20 over years ago? And we will also get to hear her amazing insights on self care and tips on taking care of yourself during this pandemic. So, today I have the absolute pleasure to introduce Kargi as our guest for today's episode. She holds a Master of Arts in Music Therapy from St. Mary of the Woods College in Indiana and obtained music and imagery trainings from Anna Maria College. Kargi is also currently working with adults suffering from stroke, traumatic brain injury, and psychological challenges, alongside being a part-time lecturer in several local universities and colleges in Malaysia. So with that being said, let's welcome Kargi.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Hi,
Good
Ivy.
morning.
Thanks
Hi,
for your
thank you.
invitation.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. Such an honor to have you with us
It's
on
my
our
pleasure.
podcast. Awesome, super excited. Um, Kargi, why not just take a moment and say hi to our listeners and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Kargi. I'm a music therapist for the past, more than 20 years. I don't want to count. More than 20 years. So I have been a music therapist for a few populations. So I first started with special needs children. Oh, well, before that, during my internship, I actually worked with developmentally delayed adults
Mhm.
and then came back to Malaysia. I started with special needs children.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I also see clients with psychological and emotionally challenged.
Mhm.
Then after that, I moved to palliative care for about
Mm,
3 years.
yeah.
And then later on, I moved into rehabilitation. So which is what
Wow.
I'm currently doing now.
Mhm.
So beside providing music therapy, I also teach. Yeah, but I don't teach piano. Yeah, I used to, but not
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I teach music therapy courses.
Oh.
I used to in the university, and now it's actually an online project with overseas institution. And then I also sometimes I write articles about music therapy. That depends on my mood and
Yeah.
inspiration.
Mhm.
And at the same time, I'm also an entrepreneur working on my online business.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's basically what I do in terms of my job.
Wow,
Dot.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. And sorry, because I did stalk you for a bit on Google, and then one of the things that came up was on
Oh,
Star. I think few years ago you also went for a competition for Sudoku.
right. Yes, yes. That is my
Wow.
hobby, my interest.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
to be honest, before I came for this interview, I
Yeah.
actually played Sudoku. That's actually one of my routine. I would
Ah.
Yeah, if I have the time, I would usually start my day with a few Sudoku so that to keep my mind alert.
Wow,
But
I
the bad thing
see.
is, without doing the Sudoku, I feel like I have not started the day yet.
So this is like a part of your routine.
Yes, yes.
Nice. Okay, okay. Wow. So so what I'm hearing is you basically do a lot of things and you excel in a lot of things.
Oh,
So
not really.
ama-
Not really.
amazing. So yeah, so Kargi, why not? because I
Mm,
love, like listening to different music therapists on like how they introduce music therapy. And with your years of
yeah,
experiences, I'm sure there are too many people, probably you cannot even count how many people
yes,
that have asked you like, music
countless.
therapy, what's that? And how would you, in your own words, like explain to them what music therapy is?
You know what? This is the question that I hate to answer.
Sorry.
Um, yeah, and I mean, even until today,
Mm,
I have a standard answer,
mm,
a definition about music therapy, but that is not
yeah,
something new. That is something that is from our textbook.
right.
Yes, because I think, well, there was once that I read from somebody that
Mm,
the more you are in a field,
yeah.
the more you do not understand about it, or the more you do not know about it. It's like the longer you are in, then the most clueless you have. It's like I don't know anything about music therapy. So if you ask me to my own words, how would
Mm,
I describe?
yeah.
Well, I have been thinking about this question for some time, but then I
Yeah.
don't really have an answer. What I can share is that it's something very unique that you
Mm,
must experience in it in order to understand what it is about.
mm. Very good answer. I agree.
And yeah, I give you an example.
Yeah.
When I first started this music therapy as in
Mm-hmm.
my undergraduate,
Yeah.
I think yeah, yeah, I know music therapy. Yeah, I do music therapy, but then I think I only when I really experience it myself as the client,
Mm.
then only I think I know what music therapy is all about. Yeah, that's what I can share. So if you ask me to give you a definition, I think yeah, that will be something from the textbook. I don't think that everybody want to listen to it. Yeah,
Mm.
right. Mm.
Very interesting. Never thought of that perspective, but yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Wow. And I think you also mentioned that so before coming
Mm.
back to Malaysia, you went to overseas for studies, and did you do a master's in music therapy?
Okay, this is my journey. I
Yeah.
finished my undergrad, then I went for my full-time internship.
Mm,
Then I stayed back for a short period of time to work.
mm-hmm,
Then I came back to Malaysia.
mm,
And about 6 years later,
yeah.
I went back for my master.
Okay, okay. So, what did you study in undergrad? Was it anything related to music therapy?
Yes, it was music therapy. So my both my undergrad and
Oh,
graduate study was in music therapy.
I see, I see. All right. Wow. And so I think my question is why did you choose music therapy as your career? Out of so many
Okay,
other options.
all right, that was a long story, but to make it short,
Mm,
um, when I finished my high school, I
yeah.
wanted to do something about music,
Mm,
and I knew it in the very beginning. I didn't want to be a teacher. I
mm,
hate teaching.
yeah.
So, yeah, I discussed this with my piano teacher, and
Mm-hmm.
then she said she didn't think that I would be a good performer as well. Well, so sad. But
Oh.
then she did introduce me about music therapy. But I don't think that she knows what exactly it's about. She just asked me to go explore it. Yeah, and then back in those days there's no I mean there's internet, but it's just that not so common. You cannot just Google, and there's no Google at that time. So
Yep.
basically the information I got before I really started music therapy, it was very scarce. And
Mm.
then but then I think I got a very brief idea what music therapy was about. So then I
Yeah.
just say, okay, let's try. So that's how I got
Wow.
into music therapy.
Yeah, awesome. And my next question is So because I know
Mm-hmm.
that you shared that you've been practicing for over 20 years music therapy. And my question is that why did you choose to come back to Malaysia to practice?
Okay. Of course, there were many, many reasons to come
Mm-hmm.
back, but I think one of the reasons. I mean, when I now think back, it was funny, but back in then,
Yeah.
uh, it was a valid reason. Even I mean, now it's not valid anymore. It's like like all the time you have been working with clients in the States, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
you thought that, wow, isn't it great if I apply all this back home, serving my
Yeah.
own people?
Yeah.
So then, yeah, that was one of the biggest reasons why I would like to bring music therapy back to Malaysia. Yeah, but then when I think of it now, it's so funny.
I think he's such a I don't know, like such a person with a big heart, to want to do that. And yeah, I think and also a very brave thing too. And we have previously mentioned that Kargi is one of the pioneers for music therapy in Malaysia. So I cannot imagine, like 20 over years ago, when you first started your career as a music therapist in Malaysia, how is it like, And because even right now, I would say there are still not too many people. There are like there is an awareness already, but there are still like not too many people know about this field. So I cannot imagine what was it like, to start a career um back in the days. Would you mind sharing with us, your journey? How was it like back then, and the challenges, and yeah.
Hmm. Well, yeah, of course, when I first came back, it was very different compared to now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in many perspectives, like people's reaction to
Yeah.
what do you do. Yeah, so yeah, I did have a very bad experience when I
Mm,
told my friends. My friend, not a stranger, but my friend, I told
mm,
him what I do
yeah.
as a career. His reaction, he didn't even ask. I wonder whether he knows what is it about, but then he did. The next reaction he had is, oh, so can you earn a living?
Oh.
And he didn't even wait for me to answer that question. Then he straight away go to his next statement. He's like, in Chinese he say 吃草. I don't know whether you understand that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I
basically,
understand.
literally translate is like you eat grass. So basically means that you cannot earn a living by
Yeah.
doing this. I'm not sure whether he has a good intention or whether he's being sarcastic or
Mm-hmm.
anything, but then that
Yeah.
hurts. That hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I
Mm.
remember until now, even after more than 20 years.
Oh.
But then I think, yeah, to mention what I did in the very beginning of my career, I remember the first when I first came back, um, I sent out a lot of letters, you
Mhm.
know, the real letters and not the email,
Oh,
the
yes.
real letters, back then,
Real.
yeah, real. And then you try to, because when I was in undergrad study, we actually had
Mm.
a course telling us how to advocate music therapy. And I
Oh.
had a very good professor of telling us, like, what do you need to do, what do you
Mm.
need to include in your letters. So I follow his advice, like doing everything, step by step. And I think I sent out more than 50 letters with
Mm.
my CV, but I only got two replies.
Right.
And one is thank me for choosing that hospital, but
Mm.
again apologize that they have no opening for anything like that.
Mm.
Okay, and then another letter was kind of encouraging. They want to meet me personally.
Oh,
Yeah, so I
nice.
went. So it's so
Yeah.
called an interview, but
Mm-hmm.
even though the interview, the outcome wasn't a happy ending. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
hire me, but
Yeah.
they were very frank in the very beginning. They were saying that the one who interviewed me was a doctor, and he
Mm.
want to know more about music therapy. It's a children hospital. So then they
Oh.
want to know how what is music therapy, even though they do not have any plan to get a music therapist in, but they want to get the awareness. Yeah, they say they
Mm.
cannot afford anything like that.
Right.
So yeah, so that was the uh, so everything just yeah. So zero outcome. You can say that that is a zero outcome after
Yeah.
all the letters sending out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then and I think most of the people who know me, they heard of they heard of my story as well. They most of them know that I didn't want to work with children. When I first started
Mm.
in this career,
Yeah.
I told myself that I would like to work with adults, and I
Mm-hmm.
have no interest working with children. But then because of that time, there's no other option. So
Mm.
then I went into special needs children. That was the very first market, or we would say the biggest market in Malaysia for music therapy.
Right.
Yes.
Wow.
So then, having the dream that, oh, I want to serve my own people, the adults, because I was working with developmentally delayed adults. So when I came back
Mm-hmm.
carrying the dream, and then now it just doesn't um, realize the dream. But then I need to work
Mm.
with a population that I did not enjoy much. So that
Mm.
was not so, yeah, not so happy.
Mm. Yeah.
But along the same time, I mean, along the way, I needed to do a lot of seminars, a lot of talks, a lot of sharing with no
Yeah.
pay. Yeah, people just
Mm.
expect you come and share. It's like I'm giving you an opportunity to share what you
Yeah.
are doing. Yeah, so
Wow. Not easy. Not easy.
yeah, not
And
easy, but
yeah,
it's
I
all
just
over.
you know what, it's over.
Right.
Yeah. Wow, there's I think whenever you start something new,
Mm-hmm.
there needs to be so much perseverance, and I see so much perseverance in your journey, like you sending out 50 letters and only have two coming back to you, and only one encouraging one, um and even going to seminars after seminars and getting no pay. This is something that if you have no passion for this, you will give up like long time ago already. So
I would say that over the 20 over years, there were
yeah.
numerous times that I have this in mind. I'm not going
Mm,
to continue.
yeah.
Yeah, but then I think once this thought came in, and
Mm-hmm.
you have actually sort of like made a decision that probably I should stop,
Yeah.
but then another opportunity comes in. So,
Ah,
so in deep down in your heart, you feel like, oh, is that something that telling me that not to give up?
it's a sign.
So it's like this happened many, many times along the way,
Yeah.
right? So
Mm.
that's why I'm here now.
Yes. Wow. And I also like to know
Mm,
what was the turning point? Like people not responding to your
mm.
invitations and stuff, and to building like reputation and a caseload and stuff. What was the turning point of this career? That you really fought hard.
Mm, I think it's not the turning point is not it doesn't happen overnight,
Mm,
and also it is not something that people have done. I think
yeah.
it's more on my own adjustment,
Okay.
or my expectation.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think I yeah, because of this career, I mean this professional, we have so few professionals, so few
Mm,
music therapists, especially in Malaysia. I
mm-hmm.
guess at that time, one of the music therapists, Guprit,
Yeah.
we were very close, and then I think we talked to each other, and I think the support from each other was really important. Yeah, and I
Mm,
think that keeps us, to continue with this journey.
yeah.
And good that she's still with us.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thank her very much.
Oh,
Yeah, we keep supporting each other. I think that is one of the key points that um help us get through the difficult time in the
mm,
profession.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Really agree what you say about, community support is very important.
Mhm.
And especially, like journey like that. Yeah, I think that, like support is really, it really does help to boost, and just encourage you on this journey. And we actually will be interviewing her in the next episode.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Awesome, awesome. And also, we just want to also touch base, go a little bit back about, your journey in Malaysia. Like,
Mhm.
how would you say, like, how has it progressed or been different, since you started and until now? Like, have you seen any changes? How has it progressed? Yeah.
Yes, of course there's some progression. It's
Mm-hmm.
just that it's not as quick as developed as we want to see or we want to have
Right.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So now when you say you are a music therapist or you do music therapy, people won't give you that kind of weird look. Yeah, at
Yeah.
least they have even if they do not know, they have the courtesy to ask. I think
Mm,
the
yeah.
awareness now is there, especially if you look at special needs community. Music therapy now is well received in that
Mm,
community, but maybe now I don't work in that particular community anymore. I venture into more on medical setting or rehabilitation. So of course,
mhm,
back to square one, like people will say, "Oh, what is that? How does it help?" Okay,
mm,
so so you still need a lot of advocacy, a lot of
mm,
explanation, a lot of demo.
mm,
But then I thank the previous years that I have been through. So I think those years kind of prepare me to, when I go into another area, even though it's
mm.
still music therapy, but it's just different populations. It gives
Yeah.
me the ideas or the preparation how to so-called educate the
Mm,
public what is it about. And sometimes I think being a music therapist for too long, I tend to use a lot of professional terms that they don't understand at all. So it may
mm.
sound very great, but then they don't understand. So then I realized that that's no point, really no point.
Right.
So why not we just give something simple, just
Mm,
maybe just an example. So when
yeah.
they can relate, then I think that will only help them to have trust in the therapy.
Mm, yeah, that's so good. That's so good. And I think we although I think there like you said, maybe there isn't as much, like progress that you would like to be, but
Mhm.
I think we also celebrate the little victories, that what we have achieved in the last past few years, and especially what you guys have, pioneered for us, so that it's not as hard, for music therapists like me, like when we come back to Malaysia, like people won't like, huh, music therapy. I mean, still got, but it's not as, common as before already. So thank you so much again,
Oh,
for all that
it's our
you
pleasure.
do.
Mhm.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
And of course, now we have so many of us now. So, and we have our association. I think that helps
Mm,
a lot. Mm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's amazing. And I really believe that there's so much more, for music therapy field in Malaysia, and
Mhm.
there's so much things to be excited about in the future.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Yay! Awesome. And so I'm gonna throw you a very fun question. I'm not so
Oh,
sure if this
okay.
is a fun one or that makes you a little bit like, a garam one.
Okay, all right.
So, what is, maybe what are some of the myths that you want to debunk about music therapy? I think there are a lot of them that you can just think of, um, right, at the top of your mind when I ask you this question. But yeah, what are some of the myths that you want to debunk today? Let our listeners know.
Okay. I think over the years, I still have one. Yeah, it used to be another one, but today I have to, I think
Yes.
that one, a lot of people cover that. So today I'm going to talk about another one. The other,
Mm.
actually, it just happened to me the other day when I asked, I think, a group of students,
Mm-hmm.
I asked them, I said, do you think one genre of music is more superior than the other one? I mean, from the music therapy perspective.
Mm.
And all of them say, yes, classical is the best. Okay, so, well, yeah, I can understand, I can relate to their answers, and I can
Mm-hmm.
relate to this statement a lot before I
Yeah.
become a music therapist, or even after I become a music therapist. But
Mm.
then, everyone is unique.
Yeah.
And I believe that each genre of music, um, or the style, or
Mm-hmm.
even the same song, different style,
Mm-hmm.
I probably can relate to one of them, but not the other
Mm.
arrangement.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it always needs to go back to the client himself or herself to see
Mm.
how much that particular music or that particular song um, mean to him or her. Rather than, we
Mm.
just generalize, say that no heavy metal here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we must relax. Okay, come take a deep breath and then we start listening to classical.
Yes.
That doesn't work. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't work. So I think same thing. Now I think a lot of parents, they feel that, teenagers listening to heavy metal, hard rock, isn't that something bad? But then again, back to the basic. We
Mm.
all exposed to different things every day,
True. Yeah.
and also we relate to things differently. I would say,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's your children, your own children.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also even for me, I relate to a same song, but at different timing differently.
Yeah.
Sometimes I may relate so much, or I may cry after listening to that song. But then
Mm-hmm.
at certain times, I feel okay only. It doesn't really touch me. Okay. So I
Mm.
think I think people got to understand about this. Different timing, different song, different music, different style, different genre. It means differently to every one of us. So do
Yeah.
not have this, do not impose the idea on, classical music is the best, this is superior than the other one. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Wow. And I think a lot of people kind of mistaken music therapy as like a prescribed
Mm.
therapy where like, oh, if I have depression, should I listen to Bach or Beethoven, this song, that song,
Yes,
for
as
how
though
many
it's a
minutes?
medication, like how many dose you need to take, right? Yeah, listen to Beethoven twice a day, morning and night before your meal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so would you say that is true? How would you, how would you respond to a question like that, when you're asked?
That question, I always need to take a deep breath before I go on. Okay, so yeah, well, it's not a prescription.
Mm,
We are not here to prescribe anything, and I would explain to them, in those days we go into CD shops, there's
mm,
kind of the label saying that, oh, this is good for depression or that can boost up your concentration. Yeah, I mean, probably those CDs or those music behind them, there's a bunch of research supporting them. But of
mm,
course, we do not want to criticize on how the research is done. But
yeah.
that is for a general population. Maybe 100 people went in for the research. So maybe you have like 55 of them
Mm,
respond to that music. Okay, we can make a conclusion here because it's
mm-hmm,
more than half, right? More than
yeah.
50%. So they can call it a majority. So, but then I would ask the person if they raise this question. I would say, do you think you believe to the 55% or you belong to the 45%? I guess nobody knows, right, which group you belong to. So
True.
then, yeah, so I mean, you can try whether that works for you, whether after listening to that, whether it can boost up your concentration or, it helps you in terms of your depression. But
Yeah.
if that doesn't work, that means you belong to those 45%. So
Mm,
music therapy is not something like that. We cannot just throw you in certain group and then you just go
yeah.
test it out. We don't
Mm,
do that. That's why we are professionals and we listen. We need to do assessment. We need to go through all the trainings so that we know how to select the music and what we do, what kind of intervention we need to provide so
mm,
that you can get improvement. Yeah.
yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a very good answer. And I hope that, brings some clarity to people who think that, oh, I need to listen to this music for 3 times a day before my meal, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They might not mean it in a way that, like wanna tease us, or, but maybe they're just really genuinely like, doesn't know like how
Mm-hmm.
this works.
Yeah.
So
And I
yeah.
foresee that this question will still go on for another 30, 50 years or even 100 years later.
Yes, that's true. So that brings us to the next question.
Mhm,
So I think what I really love about about this field, about music therapy, is
mm,
that the stories, is the
mhm,
stories that really like, oh, this is what you do. Oh, this is how music therapy works. And I think most of the music therapists would agree that it's the relationship that with your clients, with your patients, that
mhm.
like really brings such a sense of reward. That was like, oh man, this is what I really want to do in life, that kind of feeling. So maybe do you want to share with us, one or two sessions or patient stories that really make an impact um to you as a music therapist, that you like to share with us? Yeah.
Wow, there are way too many.
There are way too many. Yeah, I
Yeah,
bet.
right. Maybe I just share one of my experience from
Mm-hmm.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now I'm in rehabilitation.
Yes.
So I have a lot of clients who are stroke survivors and
Mm,
also have brain injuries.
yeah.
So they are going through rehabilitation. So there
Mm,
was one client, uh, very young, because he had early stroke, premature
mm,
stroke. So then it affect him a lot. He doesn't speak at all.
mm-hmm.
So the mother was very worried. So he kept pushing him, like, why don't you talk, try to stimulate him everywhere, in every way that she can,
Yeah.
in order to help him to speak. And yesterday was our first session after assessment.
Mm,
So I tried to sing to him a few songs, a few of his songs that, according to the mother, that he may like it. So
mm-hmm.
because he's a Malay, we use Malay song. So one of the
Oh.
song is Isabella,
Mm.
and surprisingly, he sang. So to the mother's surprise, I mean, of course, as music therapists, we know that even if he doesn't speak, he may sing. So to us,
Mm-hmm.
like, this is normal
Yeah.
if he responds to music, which is good. But then to the mother, she was like, oh, he sings. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes not only for the client improvement, but also from the family, they feel very hopeful when they see
Mm,
that how the client respond in
mm-hmm.
music therapy, that give them some
Yes.
hope. Because in other therapy, they feel
Mm-hmm.
that, oh, it's like not doing much, like he doesn't show any improvement. But
Mm-hmm.
then in music therapy, at least even if he didn't sing at all, even
Yeah.
a smile after he
Mm,
listened to certain music, I think that is a very good, a very positive feedback to the parents.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Indeed.
back to the yesterday's the experience. Yeah, he
Mm-hmm.
sang not to say the whole song, but then most of the lyrics he sang, and you can
Mm.
hear his pronunciation was very clear as well.
Wow.
Right. So after first time we sang Isabella, I offered him. I asked, "Do you want to play the guitar?"
Mm-hmm.
And then he looked at me and he nodded. So the mother was like, "He never did that to me."
Oh.
Yeah, so then I think that kind of is a breakthrough in his rehabilitation journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, of course, I share with the mother that some of the things that she can do with him um,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes so that, he can improve some of his responses and
Mm-hmm.
the mother feel more encouraging at the same time. Yeah.
Wow. That is beautiful. That is so beautiful. I love that how like you said, music therapy is not only just impacting the patient, but it also
Mm,
brings hope to the family. And we can
right.
only imagine, how difficult it must be, for the family, for the mother, take care of them. And
Right.
maybe a mother, they always hope for the best for the child. And
Yeah,
for a child to go
definitely.
through, things like that, it must be so heartbreaking for the mother. So
Yes.
yeah, so this really, I think, really brings so much hope to the mom, and that drive for her to just keep going.
Mhm.
So that's really, really amazing.
And I
Wow.
guess all
Mhm.
this experience keep me going.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm sure that you have hundreds and hundreds of stories like this that
Mhm.
you have witnessed, that you know family after family, sessions after sessions, that how music really have an impact on just bringing a change in the person's life. And
Mhm.
yeah, that's so good. So Kargi, because since you've worked with adults with psychological and emotional challenges, and now we're in a global pandemic, we have a lot of changes have been made to our normal daily lives. I would assume that you have to deal with a lot of these changes for yourself and for your clients as well, as a music therapist. And maybe you can share with us, how has it been different um, running sessions during this COVID period, and maybe have do you need to deal with a lot of emotional challenges that for your clients? Then have you seen like a rise of this case, like during this period of time?
Yes. However, I think now a lot of
Mm,
people, because I think now we are at the not to say a recovery phase, but more on an adjustment phase,
right.
that most people have their top priority in terms of their job, their
Mm,
finance,
yeah.
and their family life.
Mm,
But then I do not think that now they are actually working on their um, emotions a lot, because
mm,
when those are the top priorities, people tend to neglect their emotional or psychological well-being. But I would
yeah.
see that once everything is more stable,
Mm,
people start to get, you know, back to routine, like they get a job,
yeah.
maybe they get more stable in terms of their finance,
Mm.
then I think that is the time you will see a raise of people seeking help in terms of their emotions or psychological well-being.
Wow, that's true. Never thought of that. Wow. And maybe to our listeners who are listening, are there any tips um that you would actually give your clients that how do you not only just survive now, but how do you thrive, emotionally, um, during such a stressful time like this?
This may sound very scary to some people, but
Mm-hmm.
I always encourage people to spend time with themselves.
Mm,
And I guess because of the pandemic, a lot of
mm,
people were thrown to spend time with themselves without
oh,
any
so true.
preparation.
Yes.
So when this hit, they cannot adjust to the life that they got to spend time with themselves.
Mm,
But even for some people, when their freedom of movement to go anywhere is cut down, they cannot sit still. They need to on the TV, or they even want to play music, or they need to talk to someone. I mean, all these things are fine, but then you still got to have some time with yourself. Yeah, spending time with your own self is very important. When I say spending time with your own self, is that silence, doing nothing, but just be close to your inner self. Like, how do I feel at this moment?
mm,
Or what is my emotion like? Or what is my thought? All these things are very important because whenever we have something negative, of course, positive, nobody will care about it. People are happy
yeah,
to have positive stuff. But when
yeah,
negative comes in, they tend to push it away. Oh no, I don't want this. I don't want to depress.
yeah,
I just on the TV. Okay, I watch drama 3 hours, 4 hours. Okay, time to sleep. Tomorrow another day. So I
mm,
push away my emotion. I don't really look into it. So I just get myself occupied. That is not something. That is not a solution. I mean,
mm,
once in a while you can do that. You procrastinate, but then
mm,
at the end of the day, you need to look into it as well. It's just
yeah,
when you are ready to look into it.
that's so true. I think that could be a very difficult gesture to do it as well, especially for, I think, if you're brought up by an Asian household, I think most of the Asian household have kind of like a perception of like, oh, why you cry? Cry is bad. Don't cry. Or like angry. Why you angry? Cannot cry. Cannot angry. Like we are only allowed to
To be
feel
happy,
the
yeah.
happy,
All the positive
and
stuff, motivated, yeah.
positive, joyful every day, and that's not humanly possible.
Right,
And people think that crying is a sign of weakness.
right.
Being angry or different emotions are like a bad emotions.
Mm-mm.
So
Yes.
what do you have, what are your thoughts on this, and how can we work towards like a healthier emotional health?
Right, right. And I think also I noticed a lot of people, um when they have a lot of things in mind, they cannot relax. Because
Yes.
in my rehabilitation work, I do have a group where they suffer from spinal cord injury,
Mm,
who suffer a lot of pain. So I do
mm,
have a pain management group that I
mm,
conduct every week.
yep.
And whenever I do relaxation, just a deep breathing exercise,
Mm,
you can see for some people, this is something very challenging. A deep breathing exercise.
wow.
Yeah, it can be very scary to them. They say, no, I cannot close my eyes. Or no, I cannot take a deep breath. I feel like there's something stuck here. So then
Mm,
when you ask more about their lifestyle, about their work, about their stress, then you know why.
mm,
And things does not happen overnight. It has been for them for a long time. It's just that they are not aware, or maybe they choose to neglect it, even
mm,
though they see it. Yeah, this is something that is very sad in our community now that happens.
yeah.
Yeah, and I foresee that this is getting more and more
Mm,
when people tend to get busier life, more occupied, with more distractions. Yeah, so they do not have time for themselves, which is sad.
Very sad. What would you advise? What is one tiny step that one can do to help in that manner?
I would say practice deep breathing exercise. That is something
Yeah.
I think it will be the easiest way to do,
Yeah.
spending time with yourself and
Mm,
then really focus on your own breathing.
yes.
Yeah, just three times, three cycle of your deep breathing. Yeah, maybe it
Mm,
takes only like 5 minutes or even less than 5 minutes to do that.
mm, yeah, that is good. That is good. And just really prioritizing self-care and
Yes.
yeah, just really having that awareness of how you feel, how your body
Yes.
feels, and
Yeah.
that's yeah.
And talking about self-care, I
Mm,
remember, I mean, all the time I had a wrong perception of self-care. I mean, until recently, I read an article that really hit me, on what is
mm,
actually a self-care. Because we always think that, oh, I had a busy day, a long day. Okay, now let me take a cup of coffee and then, enjoy my 5 minutes break before I start another session. And we call this self-care. But then in that article, it says, no, the real self care here
mm,
is that you need to look into your busy schedule and then work on your schedule rather than having a 5 minutes break, having a cup of coffee is called self-care. That is totally um, uh, a misconception about self-care, because if you're going to have this busy schedule like every day, 5 days a week, and you are appreciating the 5 minutes break like, wow, so precious, and then you feel so good about that 5 minutes. But isn't that the real self care? Is to look into your busy schedule and then work on your schedule rather than, enjoying the 5 minutes. You can enjoy like, 50 minutes rather than 5 minutes. So work on your schedule. So then in that article, it also hit me that it says the real self care is actually very scary,
mm,
because you need to really um, face your own issue and work on it,
mm.
rather than I have this coffee while I enjoy it very much for 5 minutes. That really changed my thought, when I read about that article.
Wow, I'm having a mind blown moment. Kapoor. Now, wow. I
Yeah.
think I need like after this conversation, I need to have like some time to like chew on that too. I was like, I also never thought of that.
Yeah, I had my
Wow.
mind blow moment as well when I read the article. I read it many times, make sure that I understand everything. I didn't get it a wrong way. Yeah, I can share the article with you later if you want to.
Wow, yes, please. Wow, that is amazing. And I think that's so true. Like I don't think I can properly process it into words right now, but I think like I guess like what you said, that a lot of people just think like, oh, a cup of coffee, or like um or even going for a walk, or like retail therapy or something like that. Like I think these are all great, but I don't think that really touches the root of
Yes.
self-care, that what your body, what your soul really needs.
Yes.
Those are the surface that maybe can maintain you for a few
Mm,
days, but not like in the long run.
right. Yes. Different level of self care, I would say.
Different
So,
level.
what is the real self care, and just that 5 minutes of self care?
Yeah, that is so true. So, would that is a question for all you listeners out there, that would you want to invest on the 5 minutes one, or the long run one? Your choice.
Yes, definitely something to ponder about.
Yeah, something to ponder about. That's amazing. We have covered so many different topics, and I feel like this episode is just wow, jam-packed with wisdom and inspiration. But Kargi, I also really want to ask, what is your hope for healthcare music therapy field in Malaysia? What do you really want to see? For after so many years of being in Malaysia, and what is one thing that you really want to see happening in Malaysia?
Yeah, that would be my wish if
Yes.
in major hospital, in major medical setting, when you go
Mm.
into it, you can hear the music is playing. I know music therapy has it in all the hospital, major hospital in Malaysia. That is something that I
Mm.
would love to see because I think that is an area that we are still so behind.
Mm.
I know now people, when we talk about special needs, everyone knows about the benefits of music therapy. But then what
Yes.
about in medical setting?
Oh, I want to
There's
cry
so
already.
there's so much that music therapy can do to the patients, and
Yeah.
yet we are not there yet.
Oh, so true. Wow. Yes, I really wanna see that happening too, and I support this vision. I support this dream with all my heart and soul and strength. Wow, that's great. That's great. Is there any advice, that you can give anybody that this if they wanna become a music therapist in the future? Um, what advice would you give to them?
Mm, just go for it.
Just go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're sure that is what you want, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just go for it.
Mm, just go for it.
And I
Just
think it's
do it.
just like you and me, right?
Yes, that's that's so good. Yeah. Just going for it. I think not thinking too much about it also
Mhm.
helps. Just like the
Right.
Nike logo. Just
Mhm.
just do it.
Yes.
Yeah, just do it. And you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, awesome. So I also love to ask our guests describe their career in music therapy with a tune or a song. And so, because we need to anyhow include some music since it's a music therapy podcast. So, what would
Oh, I
you
didn't know that I
say?
need to, you mean I need to share the music with you
Oh
all?
no,
Or
you can just put like share with us the song title. I mean, of course, if you want to
uh,
sing to us, of course you can. You can go grab a
no,
guitar,
no,
your
no.
instrument. But
Okay,
yeah, what one song that
I would say
describes your
that
journey?
go listen to this music.
Yes.
It's called Journey.
Mm.
Yeah, in fact, it's the whole album is called Journey, but of course, there's one particular piece is also called Journey. But if you want, you can listen to the whole album. It's
Mm.
actually Journey Back to Sedona. It's a
Mm.
place in Arizona, United States.
Mm.
It's the whole album. It was composed by an artist. His
Yeah.
name is Tom Barabas.
Mm-hmm.
New Age music.
Oh,
I love his music very much.
yeah.
And this album, I listened to it many, many times. It's actually an album was when I was doing my internship. I listened to
Mm.
it almost every day.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, to keep me going. And also, uh, I just cannot describe using words how much I love this music,
Mm.
the whole album, and also this particular piece. And of course, in the album there are many other pieces that I like it very much. But I
Yeah.
think this journey has really described the journey
Mm.
of the composer
Mm.
and also for myself.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, I'll definitely give it a listen later.
Yeah, and it gives you a lot of imagination for whatever or whichever journey that you have.
Mm. That's so good. And so I assume that this is not like a lyrical song, right? This is a instrumental.
Right, instrumental music.
Mm. That is awesome. Very, very good. Last question.
Yes.
If you have to describe your journey in a word, what would it be?
Mm, in a word. Wow, that's
A
difficult.
bit hard, huh? Sorry.
Hmm. In a word. Um, I would say long. The word
Mm,
long.
yeah.
Yeah. Because long can be an adjective to
Mm-hmm.
means long. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
long journey. And also it's something that you're longing for.
Wow.
Yeah, I do have some, just like what I shared before. I really like to see how music therapy can be applied in medical setting one day in
Yeah.
Malaysia. That's
Mm-hmm.
something I really wish to see,
Yeah.
something that I long for.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yes, and of course, for my personal goal, I do have something that I wish I can achieve
Mm.
as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel there's so much depthness in you, Kargi. Like I have had so many like kaboom moments throughout this episode. I'm like, long, longing
I,
and the long. I was like,
so
wow,
it's
that's
not getting too philosophical.
no. It's good. It's good. I love it. I really, really love it. But I'm just like, wow, that's good. I'm so thankful that I invited you to come, to record this. And yeah, it's so good. It's so good to hear your journey, your experiences, your dreams and what made it difficult in the past, how you have just come through this whole time. And then I just really feel like it's such an inspiration, and I feel like a lot of people that are gonna listen to this podcast, and no matter if you're wanting to become a music therapist or not, this would be something that I feel like it's
Join
gonna
us,
be
join us.
yes, join us. Join us. Become music therapists.
Right.
But yeah, it just gives people so much hope and joy listening to your journey. So thank you again for joining us in this episode. Really
Thank you
appreciate
for
what you
inviting
do.
me.
Yes, but
Thank you for
last
having
but
me. Mm.
yes, my pleasure. Last but not least, anybody who would like to connect with you online, where can they do that? Your email or your social media, or is there a website they can go to learn more about what you do?
Yeah, we can. I can share with everyone my email
Mm-hmm.
address, and
Yes.
also if you would like to, yeah, you can reach me at my email, or you would
Mm-hmm.
like to know more about music therapy, about my work. I do write articles, but it's in Chinese. Uh, that is, how do I share it? I share it with you, or how?
Yeah. I can share it, and I'll link that to the
Okay.
description box when this is up.
All right.
Yeah.
So if anyone who is interested in know more about music therapy or how my work is like, you can always read the articles, or you want to
Yes.
connect with me, talk to me about, whether it's good to become a music therapist, you can come talk to me as well. Yeah, you can just
Yes.
email me.
Yes. I also just want to add, just a few years ago, when I came back to Malaysia, I think just right after my internship, before I went back to the States for work, I contacted Kagi, and then I was like, oh, I would love to, meet up with some local music therapists, just freshly graduated, know nothing about music therapy, and so Kagi was so kind to meet up with me and share so much of her insights and experiences, with such generosity. So I'm really thankful and just for your generosity. You are such a humble individual, and with such a big heart for our community. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
your trust.
you. Yeah. So, if you find this episode helpful, feel free to share this with your friends and family, or even comment down below, and share with us which part of the podcast struck you the most. love to hear from you. And if you'd like to learn more about Life Tunes and what we do, feel free to connect with us at our social media at Life Tunes Music Therapy, and we'd love to chat with you. So yeah, thank you again, Cardi, for joining us
Thank you,
for
Ivy.
our podcast. I believe that this will be such a good episode for people to listen. So thanks for joining us, and
Thank you.
see you in
Thank you,
the next
everyone.
episode. Bye.
Bye.